Hey, what's going on, everybody? Flick and Reel fans. Welcome to News and Views on the Flick and Reel Fancast. We are your source for news, reviews, and daily discourse. I am your host, Jesse Swift, accompanied by my good buddy, Mr. Scott Fox. How you doing, Scott?
How you guys doing today? Glad to be here, and excuse the background. We bought IKEA furniture, so my living room is in just complete disarray with boxes and pieces of wood everywhere. That'll be my project for the remainder of the day.
So you have my sympathies. We have gone through so many boxes of IKEA furniture or Big Lots furniture in the last couple months of moving in and all that good stuff. Oops, I got this little banner thing running down the bottom. We don't need you anymore, but still, like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Yes, we would greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely, and there's many reasons why, but we really want to grow this channel and devote more time and energy into making informative and entertaining content, and this can be achieved most simply, like it said down there on the banner, just by taking a second to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and also follow us on all of our audio formats, whether that be Apple, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, all that good stuff. We are all over the place, easy to find, and getting audio listeners is of paramount importance. So please share those links. Listen to them while you're on the drive. I know a lot of you guys got commutes to work or you're doing some chores at home. It's a good way to do it.
I will say I do like that we both decided to sport DC shirts today. Mine is clearly very weather worn. Yours looks much nicer and newer.
Ironically, these two incarnations are going to be in the same film, which we will talk about. The last thing really quick is you at home can help support the channel and by visiting Streamlabs or submitting donations through Super Chats on YouTube. And we're happy to answer your questions or discuss whatever topics you bring to the table. One day, I would love to do this full time, but that starts with getting more subscribers, sharing, growing, all that good stuff. And that is all relying on you guys. So let us know how we can do better. If you have any thoughts, concerns, all that stuff, throw in Streamlabs, throw in the chat. Let us know what's going on. Awesome. So with all that jibber jabber out of the way, Scott, it is time to go to your segment of the show that you created like 3 weeks ago that I have very much enjoyed doing, and it's been a mainstay. I think the folks at home have been liking it as well.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity for people to engage in the comments. Jesse, please make sure you turn off the regular comments.
I'm gonna look at them one last time really quick. Oh, Maddie, piss all the way off. Hey, Maddie says, literally just about to watch a Dune, but had to stop by and show you Legends some love. I love you, man. I will be seeing it Thursday night at 7 o'clock.
I'm halfway through the audiobook, and I cannot wait to see this movie.
That's right. You were talking about that. You said you might be
so good.
You're probably approaching the cutoff point for this movie.
Yeah, and I'm excited for that because it's really good. So I'm pumped.
And likewise, Galaxy Geeks channel says this is a great channel. And if you guys have not checked out Galaxy Geeks, they cover all things geeky. Make sure to hop over there, not right now, but after this show, and subscribe to their channel. And Maddie wants his Flick and Reel professional pro board like I have up here. That thing's not even gripped. I have the roll of grip tape on there somewhere. All right. But we will let you lead the charge, Scott. What kind of trivia do you have for me and the audience at home? Ooh, he's excited. He said he's
closed all the extra windows, so I think my lag disappeared. Hopefully, we are doing in celebration of doing DC FanDome this week, and most of our conversation is going to be about that. I have 6 DC film questions for you, sir. Hey. Please go ask your brother.
We don't know what they are.
Well, I think they're all gone, so you guys can go have a different treat. My wife is currently out of the house for an hour, so yeah, they want to participate. They love DC trivia. All right. I'm going to give you the softball that I wrote first. You got 6 questions. We're going to test your abilities.
It's all downhill after that. I like it. I like it very much.
Frank Gorshan portrayed what villain in the 1966 Batman film?
He was the Riddler.
That is correct. Check mark.
I will say, though, I'm a little concerned that a 1966 Batman movie is your only softball.
Well, they're getting more current, so you'll appreciate them a little more. What actor plays the decoy Ra's al Ghul in Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins?
Ken Watanabe.
That is correct. Well done, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right. In Superman the movie, who played Ursa, General Zod's second in command?
Oh, no. See, if you would have asked what is the character's name, I could have done it.
I flipped the script on this one.
You did, and I'm flipping the finger at you. I can't even guess.
I did make sure to call it Superman the movie.
And not Superman the motion picture.
It is Sarah Douglas, good sir.
Of course.
Douglas.
Sarah Douglas, right.
She is noted for playing both of those roles. And then in 2018's show Supergirl, she played a character. And that is literally it on her repertoire.
Complete filmography. Nice.
Not complete filmography, but her noted roles, especially in America. She's British. And I believe also more of a theater actress. But anyways. Now, I seem to have,
movie was in theaters.
I seem to have loaded a lot of Superman in here, so I'll give you the other one.
Well, it's okay because we didn't get a lot of Superman DC fandom, so you can always count on Flick and Reel to bring you the Superman. Where's my Man of Steel 2? God damn it. All right.
Or just give me Henry Cavill as a legit tie-in teaser, but whatever. What actor portrayed Nuclear Man in Superman 4, The Quest for Peace?
See, this specifically is something when I was doing, I almost wore my Inner Geekdom shirt today, but I had black pants on. I didn't want to be all black. Wait, you said who played Nuclear Man?
Yes, Nuclear Man.
Well, technically, Gene Hackman provided the voice, and that's a fact. I can't remember the name of the actor that did the body for Nuclear Man.
Oh, you can't see the comments, but Wingblade nailed it.
Of course he did. He's a Superman expert. If he spins Superman on the wheel.
And he even got your voice for Gene Hackman.
Yeah, he's the one that educated me on that. So
the actor is Mark Pillow. Oh,
man, Sean's so mad at me right now. It's like raging in the chat, I'm sure.
You're a whopping 2 for 2.
Not 2 for 2. 2.
This
right
now I'm gonna give you this one because this one's brutal and not very nice question, and then I'll give you one that's right in your alley as the last question. Right. What actor plays Father Hennessy, the insomniac alcoholic priest with the ability to communicate with the dead in 2005's movie Constantine? I'm just going to put a check mark or an X right here real quick.
Father Hennessy. I'm thinking of the people in that movie, and I can think of 3 actors that are not that person. Shoot. It's a good one, though. Bringing in some Constantine. I know this isn't right.
I'm a little heavier set.
No, I'll just throw Peter Stormare, but I know that's not right.
Pruitt Taylor Vince.
Who?
You're welcome. Pruitt Taylor Vince.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, that's that was. I wanted to. And Wingblade was growling at you for that last question. All right, and so final question here for you. This is going to be up your alley. I know you are a huge movie film score guy.
Well.
And so I'm going to preface this question by saying, listen to the whole thing. In Batman 89, Tim Burton hired a regular co-collaborator, Danny Elfman, to do the first 2 Batman movies, Batman 89 and Batman Returns. However, when Joel Schumacher took over, he hired a different person to do the scores for the movies. Who did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin?
Sean's going to shake his head at me, but I have one person coming to mind, and I don't know. He said a lot of sporadic things. It's not Jerry Goldsmith, is it?
Nope.
No.
I'm going to give you a hint. The gold you're on the path with.
Oh no,
Wingblade nailing it.
of course, he's still in it. He's still. I cannot think right now.
And he also said the actor from Constantine is that guy that you go, oh, that guy. Nobody knows his name, but you know his face.
Good job, Sean.
It is Elliot Goldenthal. Elliot Goldenthal.
Yep.
And he took inspiration from Danny Elfman's first two for the next ones, but it was
once
not the
again,
same.
I have laid way too many softballs up for you, but I hope that you I hope that you struggle.
I actually thought you would get that one just because I knew if I had asked the Danny Elfman question, you would have nailed that because I know that one.
Well, I'm glad that you know roughly where my foundation of knowledge is.
Well, I was just testing it because I also know you're a big DC guy, but those two movies are shunned by a lot of Batman fans.
Quick reminder before we go, was that the last one, or do you have another one?
That was all 6. You went 2 and 4.
Killing it. Just
Let me
reminder,
turn off
guys,
my comments
to like the video, and if you would please share it somewhere and let us know. Did you share it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever? Let us know that in the comments, and don't forget to vote on the poll. I'm curious what people say, and maybe we'll take a look at the poll at the end here.
Let me just say, Mike Deacon commented that question was just asked on the Schmodown. I did not know that. That means my quality of question is coming up. I feel good about that.
There you go. Next year, Scott Fox writing for the Schmodown.
Here we go.
Right. We're having a whole Schmodown debate on there. All right. Let me bring it up here. So your categories, and everyone feel free to play along, is comic book movie alter egos.
Oh, crap. Okay.
All right.
Oh, my gosh.
I think this possibly the easiest one first. Maybe.
Okay.
Let's set the bar there. We got Sean in the chat, Mike Deacon. Who else is in here? It's Maddie Gunner, showing your Galaxy Geese. I hope you guys are all ready to play along. All right. Number 1. Who is Flint Marko better known as?
Hold on.
Give him a minute.
Comic book alter egos. Flint Marko.
Yes, all of these characters have been in a film.
You ever have a horrible thing where the wrong name keeps popping in your head? And because you said Flint Marko, I keep thinking Flynn Lockwood, even though I know it's not.
Big hint in his name being Flint. And we need an answer in 5, 4, 3,
Inferno?
2,
No. Oh.
1, 0. Scott,
fire
this
something.
This does not bode well for you, sir.
No, I'm going down in a blaze of glory here.
Just so everyone knows, there's 9 more coming, and I'm sure that I want to see is the chat. Yeah, Sean's getting it. You are looking for Sandman, played by Thomas Hayden Church. Oh, Scott.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
And by the way, Thomas Hayden Church, outstanding actor, really good in Sideways as well as on the show Wings.
Also George of the Jungle. All right. Number 2. Can you hear me okay? It looks like your camera froze for a second.
No, somebody tried calling my cell phone, and my phone is my camera right at the moment, so.
You know what? It's really good quality, though, to be honest. It's not noticeable.
Well, the new ones have up to 4K, so as long as you get your settings correct, it's not too bad.
Nice. All right. Number 2. I'm going to start blazing through this so we can get to DC fandom stuff. That's what everyone's waiting for. They're like, move through it. All right. Question, or I guess name 2. Who is Al Simmons?
Spawn.
Ooh, that's the one you knew right away. Okay.
Yeah, I really like Michael Jai White as Spawn. I'm curious to see how it'll work with
Jamie Foxx.
But I really did like Michael Jai White and John Leguizamo as
the Violator.
Violator, thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that movie, and
All
it was actually pretty good for the CGI for its time.
Hopefully, I'm not showing my hand too much, but this character has received 2 films. Who is Alec Holland? Let's see who's got this in the chat. See,
Alec Holland.
Nobody yet. Nobody knows Alec Holland. All right. 5, 4.
Oh my gosh, I know the name. I'm blanking though.
2, 1. It's all right. Obviously, I bombed my questions. You're looking for Swamp Thing.
Well done.
Thing. All
well
right. Number 4.
Okay.
No hints for you, Sean. This one is a little bit easier. Kane Marco. Who is Kane Marco? Check the chat here.
Oh my gosh. Right when you think you know something, then somebody starts actually testing you.
I'm testing you, buddy.
Kane Marco. And this is comic book adaptation.
Yeah, these are comic book movies.
Movies? They're all movie?
Okay. Every one of these is a character in a film. So I'm not just pulling out of comic book obscurity, I promise.
Kane Marco. Why? I want to say Scarecrow, but I don't think that's right.
No. All right. Hey, Jake Berlin in the chat saying, I'm really digging this new look, and this is a perfect opportunity. Shout out. Jake Berlin has redesigned and restructured the whole show. So we got these really great overlays and stuff. Awesome thumbnail. Jake, thank you so much. You are the man. Check Jake Berlin out on Apocalypse. I was just on the channel. Speaking of DC fandom, we did a huge live stream. And on top of that, he also is on A Certain POV, which is their Schmodown after show. So take a look at that stuff. And Scott, you're looking for Juggernaut. Kane Marco.
Oh, he has been. Okay.
He's been in 2 films.
Yep.
All right.
That sucked. All
right, Scott. Number 5. Who is Max Dillon? You know what? It's what you get. It's what you get.
You took the gloves off this week on me. Max Dillon.
Yeah, I told you. I was trying to start out the easiest one.
Nope. Go ahead and just give it to us.
All right. Max Dillon is Electro. And I got this one. I hope somebody in the chat gets this. I know Sean's going to get this. So I'm looking to you, Sean. All right, Scott. Patience Phillips. Who is Patience Phillips? Jake's an IG expert as well, too, so he might know this one as well. What comic book character is portrayed or is known as Patience Phillips in the movies? Movie. Singular. Ooh,
why can't more people be like John Constantine, just have their own name, be their alter ego?
Jake knows. He said, wow, you went there. I sure did, buddy. I sure
in a movie.
And if you guys want to have an impact on what kind of questions we ask, because I love doing this every week, go down to Streamlabs. So let's do a little donation. Be like, hey, do a quiz on this next week. And I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Patience Phillips.
Are you ready, Scott?
Yeah, go ahead. Someone tells me this is out of Mystery Men or something like that.
Well, Sean, this is a gray area. Scott may be mad at me, but this would be Halle Berry's Catwoman. Was Patience Phillips technically a DC film?
I almost did a question from that movie, but I was like, that's just mean. This is the worst movie the DC ever put out.
All right, we're just gonna run through the next 4 here. Oh, Carlton Drake. Who is Carlton Drake? This is a recent one. I realize I did get kind of mean on some of these. If you get the movie, I'll give you a crisp digital high five.
Yeah. Carlton Drake. Is that Wonder Woman?
If I tell you the actor, I think Riz Ahmed. Maybe.
Oh, my brain's fried right at the moment. Go for it. Say it.
You're looking for the film Venom, and that's the character of Riot, the other.
Oh my
Scott's never gonna play with me. All right.
You know what? I shouldn't have done this. You know what? This game was originally supposed to be me asking you questions, and you're like, "Oh, I'll ask you some."
Listen, I gave you like softballs like every week, and then you just
Well, we clearly know your level of competence versus mine now.
All right, 8. Jonathan Crane. That's like the second easiest one on here.
Jonathan Crane. I know this. Oh my gosh.
It's been in 3 movies. Oh, let's see if the chat's cracking it up. Sean says Scott wants to strangle you right now.
Jonathan Crane. I know this, but my brain is picturing the wrong characters.
What do you got? Throw some at me.
All right, what is it?
Scarecrow.
For some reason, I'm
Dr. Jonathan Crane. What were you stuck on?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Nope. I was thinking of a Spider-Man character.
Okay.
That's my bad.
How about I'll give you the comic distributor. DC Comics, because we're going to DC fandom. Waylon Jones.
Waylon Jones, and that's DC?
Yep.
My brain wants to say something from Jonah Hex, but that's not right.
This isn't as mean as Jonah Hex. Been in one film.
Waylon Jones. Oh my goodness.
Was
Heaven forbid somebody ask you who Harvey Dent is or something like that.
Scott, I give you
Go
too
for
much.
it.
I give you enough credit that I'm not giving you like any easy ones. This is supposed to be a flex.
No.
And you got Spot.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. Thank goodness I knew who Al Simmons was.
Waylon Jones is Killer Croc, sir. All right, and I'm sorry. The last
No, that's okay.
The last one's probably the hardest one. If anybody in the chat got this one, I would flip my lid. Eric Brooks. Marvel. There. That's what I'll give you. Eric Brooks. Marvel. I want Jake back in the chat. I don't know if Jake knows this, but just got Sean trying to do all the work. Sean's getting a free study by hanging out with us.
What
What's that?
Nothing. I was trying to run down my head Marvel films and who Eric Brooks might be. But
I could tell you he was the lead in 3 movies.
He was the lead?
Sean said he had to Google this one.
Hold on. Eric Brooks, he was the lead in 3 movies.
Marvel movies. Yeah. Sean Wingblade says a Marvel hero who had 3 movies.
And these are live action, not animated?
Yeah, these are live action.
This is dirty pool. Hold on a second. I'm trying to think of somebody who's been in 3 movies, and he was the lead.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen with nobody knowing what the heck the guy's name is?
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
So we're like almost half hour in. We gotta start talking about DC movies. Oh, Sean Wingblade will give you the dates of the 3 films: 98, 2002, and 2004.
Cyclops?
Blade. Eric Brooks is.
Oh my! What? Oh, that's good. Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
gosh!
You know, you step up to the plate, you might get boxed.
Dude, I took those all right to the chin, high and tight and on the inside.
Several of them are
mackerel.
lead characters.
I apologize to everyone watching. That was a bloodbath. Don't mind
All
me. I know nothing.
All right. Well, time to get into the main show here. We're going to talk about DC fandom. The first thing that we wanted to talk about a little bit is some of the HBO Max first looks that we got here. When it wasn't much. There wasn't much to see. I mean, there wasn't a lot to expect. I thought we were going to get something about Green Lantern, seeing as how they've already cast Guy Gardner in that show, but they were quiet on it. The two things that we have to talk about briefly is the confirmation of two castings, which is Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon, and pardon me, I need to look up his name because I'm not super familiar with the actor, but he is from Cobra Kai. I believe it's Zolo Maradunia. Somebody correct me because I'm sure you can pronounce that better than I, but he'll be playing Jaime Reyes or Blue Beetle, which is definitely one of my favorite DC characters.
I'm excited to see that one come around.
Yeah, I love the concept art look they gave us. I'm like, yes, that is what Blue Beetle should look like. Absolutely. And I think this is also a movie, and I know for sure that Batgirl is a movie. I was really disappointed that the biggest reveal we had out of the Batgirl panel was they're like, oh, she'll have red hair because she's Batgirl. Definitely, yep, red hair. We are confirming that. And they gave us this image, which, what do you do with that? I'm like, yep, that is a Bat character with red hair.
You can find that image in any number of fan art clips anywhere. That doesn't, I mean, Boss Logic will get me more excited about something than that picture will.
Absolutely. What out of these two properties are you more excited to see? Are you more excited to see Batgirl with supposedly, and they didn't even confirm J.K. Simmons, even though Hollywood Reporter has already said that J.K. Simmons is going to be Gordon in it. Or
I'll be honest, Blue Beetle. It's something completely new. With Batman, we already know Gotham. We know a lot of the other characters. There's a lot of kind of stuff laid out there. Most fans are not as familiar. Jola Dueña. Okay. That is. Thank you, Sean, for the breakdown. I was wondering how he was going to do that in type to help us be able to pronounce it. But Blue Beetle, totally, because it's a much lesser known property. And I'm always excited when they're adding things of value that we don't already know or don't have a lot of stuff to. I'm tired of reboots and rehashes of the same things over and over again. I don't need another origin story for a character that I know like the back of my hand, because you can only do so many takes on well-known properties. Whereas with Blue Beetle, it's all fresh for most people, unless they're comic book fans. It's all fresh, or maybe a fan of a little bit of what you got out of Injustice, right, which one of the best characters in Injustice, by the way.
That's true. Also, I have been getting caught up on Young Justice. I finally made my way into season 3 because, and we'll talk about season 4 here in a second, because that's another thing that's about to drop, or already did drop on HBO, actually. They had a trailer for season 4 of Young Justice, and they're like, boom, 2 episodes on HBO Max right now. So I'm trying to get caught up so I can watch that. Blue Beetle, huge standout. In fact, the vast majority of season 2 completely revolves around Blue Beetle and the Reach, which is the alien species that the Scarab comes from. And if that's any indication of what we could be getting with this show, I am very excited for that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all my feelings about Batgirl and Blue Beetle. Batgirl, I love the casting. I thought she was great in The Heights.
Nothing wrong with the casting, but they've been toying with this idea for a while, and they've given it a couple of shots.
Joss Whedon was attached to the movie a few years back.
Well, and then also with the show, they pumped it out for the Batgirl series that they did. That just
it was the Batwoman, which was
Batwoman,
Kate Kane, I think.
Yes, and it just I hope they just do it well. That's all I care about. Is do it well, and not have this constant re-dipping in the well to try and make this thing work. Do it right one time, as opposed to just fiddling with it a whole bunch.
And I will say I'm a fan of seeing more and more like leaning into the HBO Max movies and the HBO Max series, because I think the future of DC should be HBO. Totally. I'm past the CW stuff. If that offends anybody, I'm sorry. I know Superman and Lois is kind of a grade above most of that. I started watching it. It is pretty good. But yeah, I would like to see it explored with some budget and taken a bit more seriously.
More budget, but then also DC notoriously is a little bit darker, and that's hard to do with CW. CW takes a little bit more of a lighthearted approach to some of it, and I do like seeing where they can explore some of the darker avenues of some of the characters. And that's a great comment from Sean.
Right.
He is great in Cobra Kai.
And Sean was bringing that up last night on the Swiftwing Sunday Speakeasy. Make sure you guys check that video out and catch us next Sunday at 11 p.m. Yeah, so he's great in Cobra Kai. I can't wait for him to shine in this role. Me neither. I think he looks great, and everything I've heard about him has been fantastic. Young Scott, do you watch Young Justice?
I have not yet. I know that it's up on HBO Max, and I've been kind of plowing through a couple other things, so I think that'll be the next on my list.
You are in such a perfect place to watch that show because it will greatly appeal to your sensibilities and your passion of like DC and stuff, but it's to a point kid friendly. I will say, because me and Sean were talking about this yesterday, once it hits, because season 1 and 2 happened and they were on Cartoon Network, and they did push Cartoon Network about as much as they could with those shows to try to make them sort of adult, and then it got canceled. 6 or 7 years later, it got renewed and brought onto the DC streaming service, and they didn't care anymore. They didn't have restrictions because they were on basically an adult service. And then season 4, if you watch that trailer, it is bloody. So the first 2, watch with your kids. 3 and 4, maybe let it marinate a little bit.
Well, we'll test the waters. We'll see what happens. But I am excited to. I do. It's on my list of. It's in my queue on HBO Max.
And I can't wait to get a full review of the Dune book here next week.
I was a little late this week digging into it, and the second I started listening, I blocked out the world. I just didn't have enough time to plow through it.
It takes a minute to like get what's happening. I think like to get immersed.
Yes, I was going to say that same statement because there's so many characters thrown at you so fast with very little background information, and you have to develop all the background through their dialogue and interaction to start understanding the backstory and all these things. And you have to pay attention almost at all times, because if you miss something, and you'll be confused coming down the road because it keeps building. But I'm in it right now. So I'm thoroughly pleased with. So I tried to check it out from the library app, and it was 9 weeks out. Wow. And I was like, oh, that's not going to work. So I bought it through Apple Audiobooks because I like having the book so I can listen to it whenever I want. And it's.
You know what I realized, and poo on me, I could have just given you my Audible password.
That's all right. I like having the books.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the teaser section here on our second category here. We got lots of different things we could talk about, so I want to ask you what you want to talk about most. We have a little cut up, like little mini micro teaser for the Flash movie. We got behind the scenes of Aquaman. We got our first opening scene of Black Adam, behind the scenes of Shazam. All teasers. What do you want to talk about most? We don't have to hit everything. This is I want whatever you're feeling passionate about.
I'm not quite there yet for the Flash.
Okay.
I'm excited for it, and it does look cool.
I really like.
I'll be honest, of the things they showed. The look is fantastic, and I really love what they're doing, and I love that they're going to bring in Michael Keaton as an older Batman.
And we see our Supergirl on the right over there.
Yes, but I'll be honest, that opening teaser scene from Black Adam,
I was screaming, dude.
When he cooks the guy with his hand.
I think a lot of us, because it was Dwayne Johnson, were a bit worried that Black Adam was going to be a little light and fluffy. And that trailer was dark and grim, and he murdered the hell out of that guy. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go.
If that's the opening thing, and granted, that's going to be him in the modern day because they're pulling him back. Those were modern people with weapons, right. Drawing Black Adam back. In the suit, everything, kind of the cloak, he looked awesome.
He's such a beast.
Totally. And the great thing is he's physical enough that the suit can just be a suit without having to have padding. And but if that's the beginning, and that's the brutality he has at the start of the movie. And granted, we're going to get some backstory and to build into this, but man, this is going to be the Black Adam you're hoping for, not some watered down version of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Adam really surprised me. Let's see. I think I love the behind the, speaking of like kind of the same vein. I love the behind the scenes like we got of Shazam. And I was talking a little bit about this last night. I am a absolute simp for anything mythology. So the fact that we have these two like goddesses with Calypso, and I forget the character of Lucy Liu is playing, but you have harpies, you have like gargoyles and griffins, and they're all horrifying looking because you have David F. Sandberg directing it. And I love the aesthetic he does for creature work.
Even the dragons, they had a lot of cool stuff. My fear with this movie, and Zachary Levi even said in the kind of montage that they had upgrades everywhere, upgraded suits, upgraded sets.
The suits look so much better.
Oh, night and day difference. And it was Gio Ramos. Great comment. Another L for those that said Black Adam would never happen. Absolutely correct. The hope is with Black Adam and Shazam both happening, then the next thing is we'll have that beautiful head-to-head with those two. But everything looked amazing. I commented to you before we started today that my fear with after watching that is they're biting off too much. It looks like they're taking on a lot. And
but in
with
the best way, we can see a budget. We can see a budget in this movie.
The upgrade on the budget is definitely being well spent. But I think they're banking on this movie, whereas the last one was a pleasant surprise for Warner. They were hoping, and it was a little more family-oriented. This one seems like it might have a little more intensity to it. But, man, it does look good. My fear was just with all the extra sets, all the different places, I don't want them to rush anything. And Warner and DC are notorious, especially recently, for rushing to try and get to a point too early.
Well, one thing that's, we talk about possible cons is this movie's like 5 years later from like the first Shazam, or like 5 years of filming. Maybe it's like 4 years. But still, when you talk about kids that are in their like pubescent years, my goodness, like, you can tell Asher Angel looks like he's in his 20s because he is. So does Jack Dylan Grazer from like the It movies. They all shot up like beans. And you face the same thing when you started missing years in the Harry Potter movies. They started looking like they were in their 20s, and I think they're kind of facing that. We
even saw one of the characters replaced with the regular version of themselves.
Right, because it didn't make
Mary
sense.
Babson.
She already, Grace Fulton, she already looked 20 in the last movie, and then she was turning to somebody that's like 25. It's like, what's the point of that? Really quick, we actually have a surprise guest on today, somebody that just did the absolute most when it came to waking up at about, 2, 3 in the morning to do the live stream of DC Fandom. And I'm sure that he has so many great things to say about this awesome use of his time. That is my good buddy, Jacob Blunden, who I don't think has ever been on the show, all the way from Australia. How you doing,
Hello.
buddy? Hello.
I have permanently damaged my sleeping schedule. So, yeah, that's me at the moment. I'm now currently just awake at 4:40 in the morning. So, and I have to be somewhat quiet because Taylor is still asleep and she's on the other end of the house and she has work today. So I need to be somewhat quiet.
I will limit how much I ask you about how you feel about that because I don't want you yelling too much. But we did sit through 3.5 hours of mostly fluff.
Oh, yeah.
Gio also made one more comment I just want to flop back to about Black Adam being the best hope to see Henry Cavill back as Superman.
Because if that's what it takes.
If that's what it takes to drag him back in, do it. Whatever you have to do, get Henry Cavill back as Superman.
I mean, given that that Dwayne Johnson has mentioned Superman a lot, I feel like that at some point that is going to happen, and it is going to be Henry Cavill. If it's not Henry Cavill, I have a feeling Henry Cavill is in Black Adam, I have a feeling he's in this movie.
I think it might be a post-credit, and then the next Shazam movie is like Black Adam, Henry Cavill, and Dwayne Johnson, like all in one movie.
What? Shazam: Fury of the Gods won't have Black Adam.
That's what I mean. I mean, like
the third one. I think. Yeah.
Well, maybe that'll be the Man of Steel 2 that we've been waiting roughly a decade for, because that was 2013. So,
yeah,
it'll be over a decade if and when we get it.
But if that's what it takes, whatever it takes to get Henry Cavill back, he is outstanding as Superman. And the people who poo-poo Man of Steel don't know what they're talking about.
Jacob, we were just talking about teasers right now. So out of the teasers between like Flash, Aquaman behind the scenes, Black Adam, Fury of the Gods, what stood out the most to you?
Surprisingly, actually, how much we got to see of Fury of the Gods, considering that's the one that's furthest away. I actually think that's
the only one that's 23, isn't it? Out of that group,
that's the 23 one. I thought that we actually got quite a lot of footage and behind the scenes content, essentially, of what that movie's going to look like. So that was the one that kind of stood out the most for me, especially considering the whole event was very much, we're not giving you anything except apparently we're going to give you 4 minutes of Shazam, that even for a movie that is a year and a half away. So that one was a little bit shocking.
I didn't know what to expect from Black Adam. I thought maybe since they'd finished shooting, we'd actually have like a trailer, but I think we all expressed equal concerns of the tone, and I think that we were pleasantly surprised with what we saw in that scene.
I think that the Black Adam teaser was definitely the one that got me the most 180 compared to everything else, because I walked in, Black Adam was the one that I had the biggest question marks over. I was I don't think it's going to do great. I'm worried about The Rock being cast as Black Adam, and that scene alone was the one that just got me. Okay, yep, I'm on board.
Yep, I think that was one of the most fun things to react to, because we were all like, "Oh, okay." And I think I don't want to speak for everyone, and it's ironic because I'm wearing this shirt, but I think a little bit of a lukewarm reaction to The Flash. Like everything that was Michael Keaton related, like, yeah, cool. Ezra Miller, you're a garbage human. Like I don't know how excited I can really be. But
yeah, The Flash did nothing for me. Whereas the Black Adam one, I watched like 5 times in a row just to make sure I took in every frame. I got pumped up after watching Black Adam.
Flash did something for me. Flash, I think, was the trailer that we were going to get. From day one, I said this beforehand. I thought it was going to be very much a teaser. It was going to be something that just was all but an announcement trailer of this movie is coming, and Michael Keaton is back in it, and so is Ben Affleck. They showed Ben Affleck's cowl. They showed Ezra Miller. They showed 2 flashes, and they gave you Michael Keaton's voice. And then they very strongly hinted at the Batmobile.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the Birdmobile. Like you can tell by the shape underneath it, it's the Birdmobile. Which
I think it was a mistake. I think it was a mistake to not actually show it. I think that's. I think
it's another second of screen time.
I think for an announcement trailer, that instead of showing Keaton, and I didn't even think about that, instead of actually showing Keaton, that's what you do. He takes off the sheet, and it's the Batmobile, and I think that would have been the thing that gotten a lot of people a lot more excited about. Oh shit, this is Keaton. Like that's doing Keaton.
That's the most iconic Batmobile too.
Yeah,
still,
versus all the other films, all the other variations of the Batmobile. That one is the one that when you see it, you immediately know exactly what it is, what movie it was in, who was driving it. The other ones are kind of like, they're cool, but nothing is quite like the '89 Batmobile.
Yeah. And what Gio's saying here isn't, I think, a good thing. It's the Flash giving some strong CW vibes in a couple shot.
I wouldn't agree.
I want the first real trailer because I need to see the scale of this movie, because it seems like it's one of the most ambitious things that DC's ever done, but the teaser doesn't hint at that as much as it could have, I think. But I think moving on, not really much to talk about with Aquaman other than some really cool concept art. I want to talk about a certain trailer that Jacob was there for me embarrassing myself because I was laughing so hard. And that is this little gem right here. John Cena and James Gunn coming back for the Peacemaker trailer. Apparently not everyone's as hot on this trailer as I am because I've been talking to folks, but I want to know what you guys thought. Scott watched it right before the show. Scott,
I thought it was hilarious.
Okay.
And I look forward to the type of humor, like when he's talking to the guy at the hospital, the janitor, and he's like, "I'm a superhero," and he's like, "What one? Peacemaker? That's not a superhero." And he's like trying to justify his existence to a janitor in a hospital. It just kind of speaks to the fact that he has all kinds of different complexes. Then you see him engaging with Robert Patrick as his father, and he's still got this. He's the lesser of the children in that family. He's the runt, weakling, lowest of the kids, and his dad treats him that way, and he's got a complex. And I love that they're kind of exploring some of that. I really enjoyed the trailer. I thought it was really well done to kind of lay the groundwork for the show and what it would be. So I was pleased with it.
Jacob?
And I also love the moment when he kills the guy, and then the one lady, and I'm blanking on her name, shoots him. And he goes, "You don't have to shoot him after I've already killed him." But some of that stuff is just, it was nicely done in the trailer.
This show, again, it's very clearly in the same mold as the Suicide Squad, and I'm not a fan of the Suicide Squad. It didn't work for me. Humor didn't work, and so this trailer didn't work just because it is so heavily leaning into that film. But I'm also in the massive minority when it comes to that movie. So I think a lot of people, this is going to work, and I think it's going to be a very successful show, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. It just didn't appeal to me because I wasn't a fan of the Suicide Squad, which is leaning. This show is really feeling like this. It's feeling like the Suicide sequel, like the one that they're getting now instead of the actual sequel. It's with these same characters. It's like, oh yeah, no, here is Peacemaker again very quickly. So was not for me, but I feel like your opinions on the Suicide Squad are going to be very much influence how you feel about this TV series.
Totally. This feels like just an extension of that same story. It's amazing how fast this came on the heels of Suicide Squad. Like it's popping up right afterward. But again, and I think you hit the nail on the head. People who like Suicide Squad, this falls right in the same exact niche. The humor, the style of movie, everything. Vigilante just looks like a knockoff version of Bloodshot or Bloodsport. It did have a lot of that feel, and the people who really were on there for Suicide Squad and enjoyed it will probably fall in love with this show, because the character of Peacemaker was one of the more enjoyable, at least for the sense of humor, one of the more enjoyable parts of Suicide Squad. So,
and I think it's completely fair that like not everyone loves Suicide Squad. It was one of the first things I said coming out of it, because obviously I have a lot of friends that don't go and see movies right away, and they ask me, "Hey, what'd you think?" And I said, I love this movie, but it is so strongly and unapologetically James Gunn. Whereas Guardians, I feel like, is James Gunn reeled back in a good way, but it's a different sensibility for a different group of fans and audiences. Whereas Suicide Squad's much more similar to his like B-grade horror flicks and stuff that he did, and it worked for me. But that taste is very specific, and so I think if that doesn't work for you, it carries over here. He did 6 of the 8 episodes of Peacemaker, so you're gonna feel it, and that is what it is, and I don't judge anybody for that. I've admitted to loving like Ash versus Evil Dead, and I feel like the gross out, raunchy, gore porn kind of aspects are similar in that, and I'm a fan of that. All right, we're at the big point. Jacob, I think, waited for the right time to come on the show because I know that he wants to talk about this, and we have a poll talking about the Batman trailer, asking what actor stood out to you the most in the trailer. Is it Colin Farrell, Zoe Kravitz, Robert Pattinson, or somebody else? for me, it's honestly Colin Farrell. But I would love to hear what you guys think. And this time I'm going to kick it off with Jacob.
Again, it's Robert Pattinson. They keep talking about this take of the Batman and how we're going to see a lot dirtier. It's going to be a lot more. I hate the word gritty, but that's kind of what we're getting, and not in a Dark Knight gritty kind of way, but more in a.
The Dark Knight felt kind of polished to me. It had like a sheen over it.
The Dark Knight has the prestige sheen to it, whereas in this one definitely does feel like we're going dark, like, ugly, and showing a real underworld of Gotham and this character. Now, I'm fascinated by it, and I'm really looking forward to this movie. This trailer didn't really elevate my anticipation for it. I actually think I much prefer the original trailer. I think the original trailer works a lot better, mostly because I think the original trailer feels like it builds better.
I feel like you feel the 7 vibe a little more in the first trailer.
Yeah, this one didn't feel like it really built. It kind of just was like, hey, Riddler's arrested, and then here are a whole bunch of quick shots and scenes, and nothing that really ties in together, and kind of a bit all over the place, which is fine. And everything I saw was really, really enjoyable, and I really loved all the little aspects of it, and I got very excited about, hey, this movie looks really, really kick-ass, and I'm very much looking forward to this. So I think this movie is going to be incredible. I think I'm very excited for Matt Reeves directing it. I think Matt Reeves is an extremely talented director, and I think Pattinson is going to deliver us a Bruce Wayne and Batman that we haven't seen before on screen. I think everyone involved is going to be. I think this is going to be one of those movies that we go, this was an incredibly well-made, wonderfully directed, one of the best, and probably one of those movies that at the end of the year we're all talking about going, this is one of the best movies of the year. And I can't. There's 2 movies next year that can really break my heart, and this is definitely one of them.
I gotta ask what the other one is. I'm curious.
The other one's probably Wakanda Forever. That one, if it sucks, that one could really break my heart. But I think this one, this one, if it sucks, it's gonna destroy me.
I'm on board, and who might also be on board is the man himself wearing the Batman shirt. Scott, I haven't gotten to talk to you a whole bunch about this trailer, but I really want to.
I think you hit the nail on the head here with the fact that the trailer didn't build the same way. There's a moment in the trailer where he has the line, "I am vengeance," right? When in the original trailer, it built to that, and that was an intense statement, and it was like, damn, like, and it was right as he was beating the crap out of the dude. And it felt like we're getting the physical, dirty Batman that we've been waiting for. Also, an unrefined Batman early on in his career when he's not as polished as Batfleck, where he's just doesn't give a crap anymore, and he's killing everybody that he can find. But the trailer didn't hit the same way, but it showed a lot more, and so we got a lot more glimpses into things. Colin Farrell looks great, and I think
prosthetic is unbelievable.
It's hard to recognize that it's him underneath if you didn't know that he was cast as the character, which is great. It shouldn't be some cheesy prosthetic where you're like, oh great, they gave him some cruddy fake nose. No, they added weight, they did a bunch of stuff to him to kind of make him into this character, and it looks really good. And I love the chase scene when he blows off the bombs and then the Batmobile comes leaping through the flames behind him. Some of those shots looked really good, and I enjoyed them. And I'm with you. This movie, I believe, has the potential to let me down more than anyone else, because my expectation is extremely high for any Batman film. And this didn't raise the expectation. It kept it right where it was. I'm excited for this. Batman is one of my favorite characters all time, and I mean, I grew up in the '80s with Michael Keaton, and I'm excited to see this. And I love the take that they're putting to it. But man, if this does suck, oh, how terrible would that be? However, they've had time to put this together. Because of delays and everything, they've had time to go back and revisit it, relook at it, and really polish it out. I'm surprised it wasn't a better trailer.
Well, Matt Reeves pushed this off like before we got into COVID and everything. He pushed this off like twice because it's like the script's not ready. The script's not ready.
Can I say one other thing that has me very excited for this movie, and
Please.
It's something that not a lot of people would think about or really know. The budget's only $100 million.
Ooh,
which for a Batman movie, for a tentpole Batman movie, for it to only be $100 million actually really, really excites me, because it's you're not just going to go and spend $80 million on a CGI fest at the end of the film. You're actually telling a detective story and a story, because a Batman movie shouldn't cost more than $100 million. It really shouldn't. Well,
I've always said I think Batman would be well served as an HBO Max show, because I don't think you need the biggest budget in the world or a bunch of CGI. You keep boots on the ground. You do a lot of detective work, and the action scenes you can choreograph action scenes. It's not the most expensive thing.
Exactly. So that actually gets me very excited. So that's something that I'm like, okay, you've decided that you're not, and that's not a criticism on the Nolan films, because he was able to turn those movies, even with a bigger budget, he was able to make those movies very much feel like they were Batman films, but they were grounded in a different sort of reality. This one definitely is grounded in what feels like a comic book Gotham.
The moniker of world's greatest detective, I don't think has been lived up to in any of the movies yet. None of them have felt like real detective type work. There's been some spy stuff and some hacker type things, but really the detective work.
Sherlock Holmes with a cape that'll punch your teeth in.
Correct.
There's one element. That's the one thing about the trailer that kind of got me a little nervous.
Which part?
We keep talking about how this is going to be a detective movie, and we see that the Riddler gets arrested in the first 5 minutes. Like, we know now that Riddler is going to be arrested.
I think a lot of the work that happens and the things that are happening are from prison,
and that's what I'm hoping. I'm just very curious. That's the one element of the film that kind of got me a little nervous, was, maybe this isn't the detective story that we thought we were getting. It's just the shit keeps happening to. Sorry, can I swear?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. I think Matt Reeves said that this will span time, though, because they are doing an inspired version of like The Long Halloween, which is like a year-long story through all these like things that happen. And it is that
still the case though? Because I know that was the original plan with Affleck. So I don't.
Matt Reeves himself he's mentioned The Long Halloween, but the one that he mentions most prominently is like the year 1, year 2, like Frank Miller stuff as well. But I think a large reason to have this Rogues Gallery, whenever he talks about the Rogues Gallery, he brings up Long Halloween.
Because that was the original plan under Affleck. Was he was going to try and get as many. He was basically going to do an adaptation of The Long Halloween and try and get as many of the Rogues Galleries as he possibly could in the movie. But I know that then once they went to Patterson, that script was thrown out. Like, that script's no longer that script isn't being used. So that's why I was wondering: is it? I know he's talked about Long Halloween, but I think you're right. Year 1 and year 2 are going to be the big elements of what they pull from.
Which I like this spot that we find Batman in. It's not going to be an outright origin story, but it's not going to be I've been doing this for 10 years super experience. He's right in the thick of it. And that's why you have this like kind of prototype Batmobile, which I'm so surprised how much I like it, because I didn't think I'd be jacked about a Bat car again, because we haven't had a Bat car since the 1960s. But this thing is a creature from hell. And when it comes out of the fire and comes after Oswald, I was like, yeah. I am for this.
And I'm not meaning this the way that it's going to come out. It's kind of like Homecoming, where we're not doing the origin story, but this is still a very young Batman. This is still a Batman who hasn't become Batman yet. And whereas in Homecoming this is still a Spider-Man who hasn't become Spider-Man. Now, I'm not saying that means we're going to have 3 films where there's a mentor from the MCU, but
yeah,
we're going to get his growing into the role. Now, I'm just hoping,
the rage phase. This is the angry movie.
Yeah, and yeah, it is.
I do like that Robert Pattinson is also only 35 years old. So he's still young enough to put several movies under his belt as Batman before he Ben Affleck is I love Ben Affleck as Batman. His portrayal was outstanding and I really like it. Problem was he's darn near 50 years old already when he took on the role, or his late 40s. He didn't have a future length without passing the baton, whereas Pattinson is young enough that he could carry it for possibly up to a decade of movie worth.
See, the biggest reason I was excited for Batfleck, and the reason why the one element of Pattinson that I'm slightly disappointed in, but again, I'm very, very excited for this movie, is we've never seen the family. The Bat family is such a big deal.
When you talk about the closest we've been being Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, it's depressing.
And that's what I was excited for Batfleck because I was like, what you just said, the dude's in his late 40s. They're going to have to do the family. And it's the disappointment I have with BVS is that, oh, wait, no, you just killed him off and you're never even going to mention him. Okay.
Yeah, they kill off Robin and then Zack Snyder's like, oh, it was Dick Grayson. I was like, it was what?
And so that's a slight disappointment. And now that we're going to get Pattinson and it's like, hey, we're doing year 2. And it's like, oh, cool. So this is going to be the 4th iteration of Batman where we don't get the family. Sweet. Loving it.
As long as Joel Schumacher doesn't pick up the baton after this movie, I think we're going to be okay.
I'm going to be quiet.
I am excited for this one, mostly not just for this movie, but also because
Joel
it
Schumacher
could lay the
died
groundwork
last
for
year.
the future. Oh
no, I am unabashedly a fan of those 2 movies.
The Schumacher movies?
For what they are.
I really enjoy Forever.
I can get so much enjoyment out of those movies.
I enjoy Forever. And Batman and Robin is a spiritual modernization of the 60s Batman.
Yeah,
and
they are. They're the 60s. If you watch them as the 60s movies, they are. Now, I also understand the mindset of, yeah, I know, but I just got 2 Keaton movies and I wanted a 3rd Keaton movie. I get that.
Well, I always say that
don't blame
the
Schumacher.
Movies. There's the Keaton movies with Keaton. I know Michael Gau's in all of them, but you got Keaton movies with Keaton that are one universe. And I always justify to myself as the reason they changed actors. It's a different story.
Yeah, but
it's kind of like
I'm not a fan that Joel became the punching child for all of that when it was the studio from day one.
Absolutely.
Because they and this isn't on you. No, so this is I think Joel made the movies he wanted to make. The problem was that the audience didn't want those movies, and that's fair. That's Warner Brothers fucking up. It's who their audience was.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Scott, is there any last things you want to say about
not
the
a shocker
Batman
that Warner Brothers would mess that up.
Yeah, they are notorious for that. Anything else, Scott, from Batman?
No, I just they can't come soon enough.
I agree. Potentially, I guess we'll know by the end of the day if it's going to still be in March or not.
It will. I'll be shocked. Look, I have a theory about the Disney move, that it's got more to do with Sony pushing Spider-Man than anything else. I have a feeling Spider-Man's moving to March, and Disney had to move everything else because of that. So I think
Spider-Man Far From Home and Batman in 1 month. Sign me up. I'm gonna have
I have a feeling it's going to happen. Because look, Batman's the first weekend of March, and then whatever movie opens in the last weekend of March, it's a month apart. If Endgame at the height of box office was basically doing nothing after its fourth week. Batman's not going to be doing anything after its fourth week.
You just don't want to be the week after Batman. Or
no, exactly. That's the thing. Like you don't want to be the week of or the week after. Week before, week of, or week after. They're the thing. You want to give Batman, you want to give Doctor Strange, you want to give pretty much any big giant tentpole a week's breathing room. Obviously, you can't do that in the summer, but in March you can, and that's what they're doing. And I think it's an intelligent and smart decision. I truly do believe that either Avatar or Spider-Man is moving into that March date.
I'll wrap up the Batman conversation by saying I'm excited. I think the casting's phenomenal across the board. I'm very excited to hear more from Michael Giacchino's score. He's one of my favorite modern composers right now. Him and Gorshan. And I love how it's shot. Jacob, you brought up, even though we're remiss to say it, the grit of it, kind of the not sepia, but there's a color scheme there. I like that. And I love that this is like one of the first times Batman has felt, even though he's like a young Batman, he's felt like the Terminator in a cape. Like when he's walking through the hallway and there's all the muzzle flash and there's unloading machine guns on him and he's just angrily like strutting through it. I'm like, yeah, that works for me 100%. But I agree with everything Jacob said about concerns and Scott. Cannot wait to see more from this movie. I think I would be good on one more trailer. Give me one more and then leave it alone.
We'll get a December one. We'll get a December trailer.
I'm sure we'll probably get 2 more trailers, but I don't need 2 more.
It would be. We're only 6 months out. We're not even 6. Actually, no, we're not even.
We're like 4.5 months out, I think.
Yeah, we'll get one more. We'll get one more trailer and a bunch of TV spots. That'll be.
We got a TV spot today. Actually, they cut up the FanDome trailer and put out a TV spot. All right, well, guys. Once again, thank you for joining us, Jacob. That was a nice surprise. Sure. And Scott, as always, appreciate you being here. DC Fandom, it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that we could have this conversation talking about all the best of it and not having to recap the whole 3.5 hours of Smallville reunions and whatnots. Make sure that if you are watching this, that you liked the video, click the subscribe button and the little alert, and then follow us on the many places. We are now on Twitch, sharing a channel with Sean Wingblade, and that's Watching with Wingblade on Twitch. Also, you can find us on all the audio formats. It's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, all the casts. So let's just round this out here with where the people can find you. And Jacob, being the guest, where can folks find you?
You guys can find me at Jacob London on Twitter and Letterboxd. You guys can also find me over on the Finely Tailored YouTube channel. This Saturday, we're doing a massive fundraising campaign for our trip to Spectacular. So if you want to come over to that channel on Saturday, and we start at 2 p.m. PST, we're just going to do a whole bunch of games, movie brackets, and fantasy draft picks. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, Scott, I'll go, Scott, if you got some sound interference. Well, you can find me here always on the Flicking Reel channel and sometimes guesting on other shows like Finely Tailored and also Apocalypse, just talking about comic book movies and all that good stuff. I wanted to thank everyone watching for taking the time out of your day to stop by and talk film and television with us. We loved having you. Please, once again, share the video. We're trying to get it out there. We want to hit 200 subscribers probably by the end of November would be awesome. So let's get that. And that's pretty much it for me. It's all the stuff. So, Scott, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, retweeting and liking everything Jesse shares. And you can find me at church at the Rescue Church Maple Valley every Sunday, sharing the gospel.
All right, guys. And with that, until next time, next week on Sunday and Monday, 11 p.m., Speakeasy, 11 a.m., News and Views. We'll see you then. Keep it real. Hey everyone, Jesse here, and don't exit out quite yet. While I have you, I want to take just a quick second to talk with you about something that's very important to me. Right now on the Flick and Reel channel, we're just a couple of guys sitting around and speaking geek. But we think that we can build into something greater. We think that we can build a community, a place for all of us to come together and talk about our thoughts and experiences about various types of fandoms. For this to happen, though, we do need your help, so please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the channel. Along with that, click that little bell icon that notifies you anytime that we upload new content for your viewing pleasure. So again, thank you so much for stopping by and visiting us this week. We hope we'll see you again next week. And just remember, until then, keep it real.